If the Venge is such a sought-after model, why was it discontinued?
I can't answer this question because I don't know, but I think I'll just give my personal opinion. I think it's much cheaper for the company, right, to just have one more and spam the bike, because there was a manufacturing shortage. I think you remember that during everyone wanted SR7, but people waited 6 months, 1 year, they could never get it while they were making so many other bikes, right? So might as well just focus on one bike, make a lot of it, make a lot of money, I guess.
Michael, thank you again for coming.
Hey, you're welcome, man.
I think I spotted this bike over on Discord. And
yep.
I had a channel that says show your bike, and I looked at it, wow, this is an awesome looking bike, man.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for Venge bikes. I have one myself, and I contacted you and I asked you if you were open, so thank you so much again for doing this with me.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, and this is a Peter Sagan version of the S-Works Venge. Which year is this?
This is a 2020.
2020?
I believe it's 2020 overexposed version. So there were 3 colorways: the white, the grey one, and the green one. So this is one of those.
Okay, I'm going to start off with your background. How long have you been cycling?
Oh, okay. So surprisingly, or not surprisingly, I'm a COVID cyclist. I started with mountain biking. I had a Merida hardtail, and then after that, I started doing all this PCN cycling because I was so bored of staying at home, right, during the lockdown. So a friend of mine rode over with his Fuji bike, and it was a road bike. So I was like, hey, my mountain bike is very slow there. So he's like, hey, mountain bike, very lame, just go to road bike. So the first ever road bike I bought was the S-Works Venge, but the first edition, which is the 2012 Venge, in black and white, super beautiful, rides amazing. And then I started riding from there on. Then I moved towards SL6, and then I tried Venge 5S, and lastly I was like, okay, all these are now gonna cut. I wanted the Venge feel. And Venge feel is very interesting. It's very steep, rolls off extremely slowly. I think you'll understand that.
Yeah.
It was really painful to roll off. But once you go to a 35, 40, it just rolls, and you don't even have to pedal. So that's the beauty of the Venge. And then I was like, okay, I've set my mind. I got a 2019, 2020 Venge. I got the 2019 Venge, and then lastly, this is the one that came after.
So wait, how many iterations of Venges do you own?
I owned all Venges back then.
Okay.
And then I had the 2019 Venge, and then I was like, oh my god, this colorway came out. I really want this. I found it, I bought it, and now it's here.
So what's the difference between 2019 and this one?
It's the same exact thing actually.
Okay.
There's no difference, just the colorway.
Okay.
And from what I realized, the colorway does make a lot of price difference.
Right.
It does.
So it looks like your whole line of bikes were S-Works and Specialized.
Yeah.
What's the reason for that?
So when I started cycling, it was back to those BMX days where I had like a brand called Shadow Conspiracy, Sub Rosa. That was when I was like 16, 15 years old. And I realized I have a brand loyalty to something that I felt was really cool. And I think the name, the brand Specialized, just sounds really cool to me, and I like their designs. So when I first wrote the Venge, the 2012 Venge, I was like, wow, S-Works, damn cool, I must have it. And then from there on, I spoke to a few friends. They're like, yeah, I want to get the Specialized SL6, not the S-Works SL6. I was like, actually, why you want to pay 2,000 more for something that is, just a word difference? Then I realized there's different in carbon. I couldn't feel it because I'm not a pro cyclist, but eventually when you reach the Venge, the final Venge, you might as well pay extra, right? Just to get the S-Works on it, and then of course, overall a better feel lah. That's why I went there.
Okay. Let's go straight into it. If you could just run us through your setup.
Okay. So of course, power mirror saddle is the. I guess once you have an S-Works, it comes with it lah. Nobody writes anything else. I have the sticks on it because it comes with attachment, and then the Garmin Varia radar. It's actually amazing. So. Have you got a Varia yourself? I
wanted to get one, but I just thought it was just too chunky.
Oh, it's very chunky, and sometimes when you ride, right, let's say you are sprinting or whatever, sometimes it shifts. So it's not like 100% going in the middle. Sometimes if you ride a little bit, it goes left or right. So that's the bad part about it.
Why don't you get the adapter that goes straight into the saddle?
I did think about it, but the thing is, Varia, it eats battery quite fast. So when your Varia dies, you will definitely need a light. So that's why I left it here. But the good thing is, every time there's a car coming behind you, your Garmin will show up like green means it's really far away, and then show up red. So there's a car behind you, you can't go left or right. And also it's really good when you want to make a right turn on the road and all this kind of thing. It makes it very safe to cycle in Singapore. so I really like that. And it makes a sound like dee dee dee, you know, there's a car. And then Rovel CRX50s, these are the old CRX50s. The new one is a 5160. So it doesn't run on the EXP hub though, so that's the downside, but it works really well.
So what hubs are these?
These are the DT Swiss 240s.
240?
Yeah, so I run a 54 teeth on it. Very loud, creates some drag, but I like the instant feel that the moment you step on it, it goes. So it's really, really quick. Reactive, the reaction time is super fast. Then of course SRAM rate E-tab, and then I run a Loop Kill blade, so this is the carbon version. And then S-Works border cages, so these are carbon as well. So I run a Garmin Edge 820. I initially had 1000, but then I felt it was too big, too chunky at the front, so I didn't like that. Then for my lights, I think it was Rock Bros. They're like $20, most economically friendly lights you can ever get. So cheap, they last literally forever. And compared to the Garmin, which I really wanted to get, although it can't connect to my Garmin headset, where let's say like there's no cars in front or whatever, you stop, you know, giving out light, right? Saves you a lot of battery, but I think is if you are about to pay $200 for a light, I wouldn't go for it. I'll spend it on food.
Okay.
And then a Supercast bar tape. Yeah, pretty nice.
Yeah.
I think that's it lah. Is there anything else?
No. Okay, so let's just talk about the frame first. It's a 54.
It's a 54, correct.
What is your height?
I'm 177 cm.
And your
so
inseam
just
is?
Nice. I'm about 54, 56. So what I do is I run a 110 mm stand instead.
Okay.
So that increases the reach lah.
How did you find that this size was for you?
Okay, so initially, luckily when I bought my first Venge was also a 54, but I was on a 100 mm stand. So I felt like, how come I'm leaning back so much? So that's when I slowly felt my way, and then on the SL6 I run a 120 mm stand, and that's when I finished my ride, I was like, I got neck ache. So that's when I realized the sweet spot is 110, and then that's why I stayed on 110 after that.
Okay. Onto the frame, this is like I said, it's a Peter Sagan version. Is there a premium that you have to pay for this color?
Oh, definitely. On the resale market, if I'm not wrong, Lux Cycle or Cycle 21, they have it for I think 9,500. I'll not review how much I paid for it, but I think overall I got it at a really good price. It was a very, very good friend of mine. So he's like, I'm buying a Pina F. He was like, do you want my Venge? I was like, yes, I'll go for it. You just, when your Pina F is here, you bring the group set over, I'll take it over.
So this is from your friend?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we talk about the full build of the price or?
Yeah, so total build, I roughly around the range of $11,200.
What?
Yeah. so all the parts are very interesting. So what I do to make it so cheap is that so sometimes I buy over, you know, people who don't want their bikes, I buy it over and then I take the parts that I want, and then, you know, whatever else, if people want to build their bikes, I'll do it for them. If not, usually they just go somewhere else to someone who wants it. So that's why I managed to cut my price so low to the point where I managed to build one fully for around 11,200.
So you run your own bike shop?
I don't run my own bike shop, but rather I run this whole carousel thing, Beautiful Cycles. It started when I, you know, at home when I was doing nothing during COVID, and then I was like, hey, I don't have enough money, don't have much money also. How do I get the dream bike I want? So I started buying bicycles, and then, you know, the beauty of buying and selling bicycles is not really in the profit itself. As much as you can make money, and that's amazing. I think making money is one of the greatest thing in the world, right? The idea is that I can try all the bikes in the world that I like, that's within budget, and then sell it, and then find something that I really like, and then once I get bored of it, I sell it again. And once I get something I really like, I'll just hold on to it. For example, this is one of them. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just very shocked at the price at 11,000. It is really a good.
I know.
It is a very good price.
My 2019 Venge, which wasn't even on CLX50, it was on CL50, right? Total bill was around 12,000 plus, and this is a premium colorway, and SRAM E-tab rate. The one I had for 12,000 each was an Altera Di2 only. So everything is one tier up, and I still paid lesser than the Venge. So I think I was very lucky, the timing was right. People are letting go of a lot of their stuff now. I think once people go back to work, they're like, I don't really have time to cycle, less for family, right? So give up their bikes, I buy over them, and then of course I build up my dream bike. So that's how I got the stuff.
What is the weight?
I have no idea. I think we'll wait later, right? You have a weight scale, right?
Do you think it's 8 or less than 8?
Got a feeling it will be around 8.2. I should
I don't
be
think
around
so. I don't think so. It's 8.2. Probably less than that.
there. It felt a little bit heavy though compared to my SL6. SL6 is super light. But the thing is, there's just this special feeling about Venge. I think you know it as well. It's when you're on SL6 or any lightweight bike, the moment you start at a traffic light, you step on it, it goes really quick. But when I'm in TMCR and then, you know, wow, how come it feels like so difficult to pedal after the 30-ish mark? It was really painful. Then I was like, okay, let's try the Venge. And then I got on the Venge. At the 30 mark, I was like, okay, it's so much easier. So that's when I realized this is it.
Yeah, on that topic, right, you've owned the SL6, the Vios, and the Venge. Could you just tell us the differences in terms of performance amongst these three bikes?
Okay, truth be told, I'm not a professional cyclist. I just really love bikes, that's all. On the SL6, it's very agile, it's very quick. Every turn is super fast. So whatever movement you make, it reacts immediately. So that's the SL6 for you. And on climbs, the best. It's really the best. Then for the Venge Vios, extremely fast. It's got a much worse pickup compared to this current Venge. And it doesn't brake. Because I had the rim brake version. So when you attempt to brake, it seems like you're never going to brake. So if you attempt to go downhill on the Venge Vios, it's like an obituary maker. you might die.
Yeah.
So that's when I realized Venge Vios was not for me, because I think safety is really one of the more important aspects of cycling. When it comes to road cycling especially, you know, cars are so fast and you have to avoid, you know, all danger if possible, right? So Venge Vios, extremely quick, even faster than this Venge, but heavy, very heavy.
But don't you think I filmed the Vios once, I just can't stand the looks of it.
Some people love it. A good friend of mine, the one that introduced me to cycling, said the Venge Vios is the most beautiful bike ever made. I completely disagree. I think it's got some funny looking stem.
Yeah, the head tube is very ugly.
Yeah, this mountain looking stem. What was this?
Mount Fuji, man.
Yeah, and brought to my mechanic. He had to charge me extra because he said, hey, this cabling is horrible. So I was like, okay, this is a bad idea. Sold it off. Then finally, this Venge.
By the way, if you ever want to sell this, too bad it's a 54. If it's a 52, we'll discuss, man, off camera. It's in pristine condition.
It's
Either that
possible.
or you're just putting this as display at home. You're not cycling, right?
I am cycling this. There's no point, you know, having such a nice bike if you don't enjoy it, right? Yeah. So definitely have to cycle it. If you're a 52, you can make the stem like 80 mm.
Oh
possible.
my god, it was so ugly.
So short.
Okay, what about the saddle? You've seen my videos. I have a hot take on the power mirror. Just think it's too expensive.
Tell me more.
No, okay. In all honesty, I don't know how it feels, but I just said, like I said so many times, it's the price. What do you think of it? Is it worth the money?
Okay, don't tell Specialized I said this. To be honest, previously I started with a Ronin Evo, which is the super slim one.
Not the mirror, right?
Not the mirror. 2012 there was no mirror.
Oh, okay.
So Ronin Evo, the first edition, is still at the steel rail. Wasn't that bad, actually pretty comfortable. And then a friend of mine came up to me with the Power Up, which is it's just a different version with the power, but it felt like the same thing.
There's no cutout in the middle, right?
There is a cutout in the middle. I think it's the same thing. I really don't understand what's the difference. So I was like, hey, this looks more comfortable than my Ronin, so I went to buy S-Works Power. And then, of course, when S-Works Power Mirror came out, being a Specialized fan, I have an S-Works, and then my friends are like, you got S-Works Venge, but you don't get a Power Mirror, what's going on? So that's when I backside itchy when to buy a Power Mirror lah. But in my opinion, no difference. It's not more comfortable than the normal Power itself.
You're the first one who said this. Everyone I've interviewed said it is the best investment they've made.
The truth is, if you were to, let's say the Power Mirror is $675, right? And you get the normal Power, which is $450, right? And you spend that $200 to go and buy a better beat, right? It actually makes more sense, in my opinion. There is really no extra comfort. I mean, okay, maybe there is some extra comfort, but really, the improvement-wise don't make sense for that $200. I think at $200 you can really spend it on a lot of other things. For example, better pedals, I guess. But for $200, I'll go it because I'm an S-Works guy, but if I'm not an S-Works, probably not.
I think another saddle that I would want to try is the Pro Stealth. But I'm just afraid it might be a bit too wide.
Pro Stealth?
Yeah.
I've actually never tried one in my life, so I can't tell you what I feel about it. But I did try the 3D Physics one.
Okay.
That on the other hand.
That's like the Ronin, right? It's a long nose saddle.
It's long nose. slimmer, much slimmer. I think it's a 139 or something. I don't exactly remember. Is as comfortable as well.
No, but the thing is, yours is a short nose and that one is a long nose. So what is the differences in terms of when you sit on it?
So I think it really depends on how you sit on your saddle, right? For me personally, I sit at the front of my saddle, which is here. So this is where I sit. So for me, a short nose is very, very important because I'm sitting all at the front. But if I'm on the physique, I'll usually sit at the back. So it's really about shifting the way you sit on your saddle. But personally, I need a short nose saddle because that's where I sit. So and it's also much cheaper. I think the Physique 3D is about $300 each, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about how much it sells, but I know on Carousel it's about $300 each. So it's almost half the price for the same technology. But I'm sucker for S-Works, so it is what it is.
We all are. So now on to the Roval's CLX 50. Let's talk about the hubs. CLX stands for having ceramic bearings, right?
Correct.
Do you think people should buy ceramic bearings in hubs?
Okay, very controversial question. Some people do. Personally, in my opinion, I just really like the white decal. So therefore I got this. But in my opinion, the rolling difference, you can't really tell. Aside from bottom bracket, that's a very, very different story. I'm currently not using a ceramic bottom bracket. I'm using the SRAM normal brackets because the ceramic speed, I couldn't find them. And $650 for a bottom bracket, I think it's unbelievable. And I would even say, good to say it's absurd to pay $650 for a bottom bracket. So I got the $48 one, which is the original SRAM one, works well.
SRAM dub, right?
Yeah, correct. And I mean, the downside is when you take out everything and then you just have the cranks, it doesn't spin like the ceramic speed does. But it saves me $600. So I think $600 in my pocket is a much better thing than having my crank spin. Anyway, I have to step on it, right? So what's the difference?
Okay, 54 teeth engagement.
Yep.
I'm going to say that you don't need 54 teeth on a road bike.
That is true.
More on mountain biking.
I agree with you. It's not required. Previously, I was running 18 teeth. What I didn't enjoy was it takes quite some time before it kicks in. So for example, let's just say when you're cycling, you're stopping halfway, right? The nice thing about 18 teeth is what I like about 18 teeth is that it's very quiet. And I love quiet bikes. I don't like the whole idea when someone's cycling past me with a CK45 and then it's like and then I was like, wow. You don't have to tell me you're coming, right? I mean, but that's how it is. What I like about 54, because I didn't bother going to purchase a 36. I had a 54, I don't know why I had it, but I just somehow had it. I was like, okay, 18 teeth is not going to work. I'm not going to spend around $100 to buy a 36, so I put a 54. But the thing is, I have to lube it a lot. So there's a lot of, I think DTCs has a pink color grease that they give to you when you buy something. I don't remember from where. I had it, so I greased a lot of it so it doesn't make a lot of noise. And the engagement is really quick. The only downside is drag. So when you stop cycling, previously on my Venge, the 2019 Venge, I had the ceramic speed, everything. So when I stop cycling, the chain slaps on the frame. It's also you can hear the bang, and that was bad. So with this current version, what I did was I really put a lot of grease on it, so it doesn't make a lot of noise. It doesn't have a lot of drag as well.
Okay. Lastly, before we move on to Instagram Q&A,
Sure.
Dislikes
Of the Venge?
of your bike in general, any part or as a whole, anything that you don't like?
It's like...
Please don't tell me weight, because everyone always tells me weight.
No, actually the weight is great. I can't complain really.
Ring brake users are going to hate on this.
Oh, I love ring brakes.
You just saved yourself.
Yeah, ring brake guys, please stay on ring brakes. Don't change the disc brakes. When there are sometimes if you actually put like when you're lubing your thing, right, and then suddenly lube get and your disc, it's over. Lovely. It's really over. So it's a bad idea. And also, every time there's some problem with your disc brakes, right, you send to a mechanic one side just to refill the oil. $35. Are you kidding me? A friend of mine, with the rim brakes, he's like, hey, I can change the what's it called? Yeah, cable for you, free. I just buy the thing and can change. I was like, no, I'm disc brake. It's like, sucker. Wow, that hurts me a lot.
Okay, so we are transitioning into the whole debate about rim versus disc.
Okay.
But could you answer first, what is the dislike before we go on to that?
Actually, I think this bike is really perfect. The only downside is I really like the whole idea that the bike is the full bike is specialized. So, for example, the Rovell wheels, right? I mean, even though Rovell doesn't write S-Works there, but the thing is, it comes as a package. I really wanted to buy the MV 5.6. I know you have them, so that's the only thing I'm considering right now, either MV 5.6 or the Princeton Weight 6560.
On a Specialized?
Yes, I know it, don't say it. I've been thinking about it, but of course the MV 5.6 comes first, right? That's the only downside I think of changing on this bike, but everything else is perfect.
Yeah.
This is the best bike I've ever ridden. Not like I've tried Pina F or 12, but personally I wouldn't change this. This is really perfect.
I wouldn't have gotten... Sorry, it's a bit of background noise. Do you hear something?
There's a motorbike downstairs.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, it's dying now. I wouldn't have gotten the NV56 if Specialized Bukit Paso had the Rovell CL X50. They didn't have stock. I think they were coming out the Rapide at that point, right?
Yep.
So I think couldn't get stock, so I needed new wheel set. I bought the NVs. I wanted the foundation, but foundation hookless. I didn't want hookless, so I went for the 5.6. Okay, so let's talk about rim versus this then. You said stick on the rim and maintenance free. Why didn't you just go for a bike that is rim then? I know you like the Venge, but... Like,
I've been saying this throughout the whole VOD that I'm a sucker for Venge, and Venge doesn't come with rim brakes. If it did, I'll definitely go for it. This brake just comes with too much maintenance. For example, when you take your wheels out, let's say you want to transport the bike somewhere else, right? And you don't want to cycle there. You accidentally press on the brakes, it's over. Pistons get stuck and you're like, I can't ride anymore. I need to bring to a mechanic, or I need to find a way to open the pistons up. Next thing, it comes to bleeding, it's $35 each side. I mean, you can bleed yourself, but I don't have the experience, and I don't really have the time to do it myself as well. So that now two downsides. Next is a damaged rotor, huge problem. It's really difficult for you to bend it back yourself. You have to bring it to an experienced mechanic, and that costs money again, right? And then rotor brakes change, as in the brakes itself, brake pads, you have to change them. And sometimes I realized with SRAM and Hope Tech, the brake pads sometimes comes in too thick, and then the moment you put it on, it rubs immediately, so sometimes you have to sand it down as well. So this kind of thing is not possible to be done by me because I'm not experienced, so I have to send it out to someone else who can do it. So that's another downside. But aside from that, when you're going downhill, very, very safe. Much better than the rim brake. When I'm going down Mount Faber, I think I'll be much safer in the disc brakes compared to a rim brake, but also debatable. Also very debatable, I think.
Yeah. I'm both for rim and disc for the exact reasons that you've just mentioned. But I just love the modulation. I mean, people can argue with me and say that, so what, you know, you can have rim brakes which have better modulation, which I have owned before, especially if you get very good cables like the coated Ultegra cables. It's very smooth. But I think in terms of braking, it feels much better.
Braking power especially, the moment you really press on it, especially for the Hope Tech, it's a 4-piston, right? When you really press on it, it jams the bike. Also a little bit dangerous, you know, but never mind. I just like the idea that, you know, I can always brake when I need to brake. And I think that's very important. For rim brake, there seems to be some sort of delay, because when you really press on it, you press on the rim first, and then it still carry on going, then it brakes after a while. And the downside of what I didn't like about rim brake is that the brake pad is technically on the wheels itself, and it wears off over time. And if you are someone who climbs a lot and goes downhill a lot, your wheels wear off really, really quickly. So let's just say you need to change your wheels 1-2 years, you know, every time the thing wear off. And you can't exactly buy a sticker to, you know, paste it back and then, you know, start going off again, because then that's dangerous. Yeah,
actually on that point, when I went back to Malaysia, I rented this bike that was, I was very thankful for this bike who loaned me one of their bikes, and it came with a Chinese wheel set. I can't remember which brand.
Windspace?
No, I don't think it's even Avian. I think it's Elite. Maybe Elite? I think. I can't remember. It's on my members channel, by the way.
Possible.
So when I was in Malaysia, there's a lot of hills. So there's this place called Bukit Tungku. It's a very steep downhill. I couldn't brake. It wasn't braking. I was like, literally my hands were cramping up. And after that, when I went home, I inspected the wheel. There was no treads on the track.
Oh, it's fully worn.
Yeah, and I think it delaminated, and I think that wheel just did not come with tracks so that water kind of gets out of the way and just didn't want to break.
Wow.
It was like breaking on literally this kind of surface, so smooth, so it's really hard.
Yeah.
So I think that's one tip: is people want to buy carbon rims on the rim brake. That's something that you want to think about as well.
Yeah, really have to consider. I think one brand that does really well for that is a Zip. I think the old Zip 404s, even though the hub had a lot of issues, the one with the silver hubs where it cracks, their lining on the wheels are really good and it literally lasts forever in my opinion. I had one that was about 5 years old, still works perfectly. So I think Zip does a really good job on that. But there's just one downside that I didn't really like about the rim brake.
By the way, I want to apologize for people who are watching. As you can see, he's in his normal clothing. I forgot to tell him to come with his helmet and his whole cycling gear. So later when we take B-rolls of him cycling, it'll look a bit odd, but it's okay. So just give people a reference like how you fit on the bike. Okay, so now we move on to the interesting part, the IG Q&A.
Go ahead.
You ready?
Yep, let's go.
It's a funny one. Singapore don't have any other bikes except track and this, I think he's trying to say.
Oh, okay. Oh, I did think about this before coming here. There's always a debate, very, very controversial. I will not get into this today. Track Madone versus the S-Works Venge. I know, because personally I've been in a lot of S-Works group, they're saying, the Venge is better, the Madone is better. I think, let's just answer it here. I think both are amazing bikes. Really depends on your brand loyalty already at this point. I will never try a Track Madone because I already have the Venge and I love the Venge. And if I think trying the Track Madone is a betrayal on my brand loyalty, so I'll never do it. But I think, yeah, Track Madone and Venge seems like the only two bikes they are really running a lot on the roads. F as well, the Pinhai F.
I think the Madone is it's a nice looking bike, but
it's beautiful.
To me, I don't. The thing that puts me off is the ISO. I think it's called ISO speed. That thing where they have that thing where you can adjust the flexibility of the top tube and the seat post.
Oh, there were a lot of issues, right?
Yeah, I've interviewed guys. Actually, one of my friends who had the Madone said he had to send it for a warranty or one-to-one warranty because of that whole seat post or the ISO speed issue.
I thought you were going to say the integrated seat post was the horrible idea. I didn't like it because overall, I think I should have full control of my seat post, right? I mean, half of it is already there, and then I can only adjust this amount.
Yeah.
I thought I didn't like that idea.
I think the Madone just have way too many moving parts.
Yep.
Just with that whole ISO speed. But people like it, so I mean just not for me.
The red and white version is beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. The next question, sorry, I'm not very up to date with the latest bike teams. What is Total Energies? Is that a new team?
Total Energies is a new team. It's Tour de France. If I'm not wrong, I don't really watch the Tour de France, but I think they're a new team or a sponsor. I'm not really sure.
Okay, so the question is, do you regret buying this since Peter Sagan is in Total Energies now?
Okay, very cool. No, I didn't buy this bike for Peter Sagan. Although I had a lot of his stuff back then, I buy this bike purely for the colorway because I really like the whole idea where this. If you shine your camera over it, right, it's a different color every time you move through it. So it wasn't about Sagan, it was more of the colorway itself, and so limited edition. So that's what I really like about it. Now, if I'm not wrong, it's all about Julian Alaphilippe and his SL7, absolutely beautiful. If I can get my hands on it, I'll definitely ride it. And also,
you're betraying the Venge, man. You're going for SL7.
Oh yeah, but they both S-Works, fair. It's all fair game when it's S-Works. Also, what's that? Mark Cavendish with his green S-Works, if I'm not wrong. I don't remember if it's there, is it?
Yeah. So the next question is, what is the name of this color? What do you call it?
It's called Overexposed.
Overexposed.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of matte and gloss.
Yeah, it is. So above here is matte, and then this is gloss. So there's the gray. This is the gray version. There's a full white version, which I initially wanted, couldn't find it, and then the green version, which I think is the most beautiful, but couldn't find.
Do you think it's going to be a problem? I mean, I own a Venge, right? Do you think it's a problem now that the Venge is discontinued and it's hard to get parts? For example, the stem, seat post.
I think for Venge, it's never given me any problems since, like I said, I had the 2012 Venge, right? Now the parts was ever spoiled. I mean, except the bottom bracket, which I had to replace. Aside from that, everything was in working condition. I had it in 2019, so therefore I survived about 7 years. 7 years works perfectly fine, no cracks, no nothing. Bottom, even the head tube,
Headset.
yeah, the headset is perfect.
By the way, just so you know, or for my audience who wants to know, the headset of the Venge is exactly the same as the SL7, so you can get the SL7's headset for this.
Oh, okay.
I found out about this through my bike Mac. I wanted to replace my headset because it was rusty
Yeah.
from the previous owner, and I asked him, how can I get this, because Specialized didn't have it. Funnily, Specialized didn't tell me that it's the same as the SL7, so I went to my bike Mac, and it's a home bike Mac, and he told me it's actually, he measured it, it's exactly the same as the SL7.
Yeah, the Venge bands, you know, because it's under so much stress, right? Sometimes it fails for at least the 2019, 2020 Venge. So thanks for telling me. I never knew about that. I thought I had to go and search for it online.
Yeah.
And it's probably gonna cost me a lot of money. But now I know,
Yeah,
save a lot of money.
it's the same.
Sweet.
I love this question. It says, he asked, if the Venge is such a sought after model, why was it discontinued?
I can't answer this question because I don't know, but I think I'll just give my personal opinion. I think it's much cheaper for the company, right, to just have one more and spam the bike, because there was a manufacturing shortage. I think you remember that during everyone wanted SL7, but people waited 6 months, 1 year, they could never get it, while they were making so many other bikes, right? So might as well just focus on one bike, make a lot of it, make a lot of money, I guess.
Do you think the Venge will make a comeback?
I think the Venge will not make a comeback. I think the SL7 is really, I would say it's a one-stop shop. It's really a bike you pay the money for. It does everything. It climbs very well, holds speed very, very well. I don't think it holds speed as well as the Venge, but I think it does everything. And it's super light, super light. So I think that's really perfect in my opinion. But downside, it comes with a Rovell Rapid aero bar, and I don't like it.
What bars are these?
Aerofly 2.
Aerofly 2.
I think Aerofly 2 is the best handlebar ever made.
What's the difference?
It's much thicker. It's very chunky, and that's what Venge represents, right? I mean, just look at the head tube itself. The SL7 head tube is very, very small, and
It's the SL6 head tube.
Yeah, so everything SL7 overall design, everything just looks so thin, right? It just looks very, very small, very, very lightweight, very minimalistic. But the SL7, everything is very big, very chunky. It makes me feel very, very strong. So, and of course, they have to complement it with a handlebar that matches that status, right? And of course, the Aerofly 2 does that. When the Rovell Rapid came to me, it was like, how come it looks so small? Almost feels like a round bar.
That's why they put it on the ATOS, right? Is it on the ATOS?
No, not on the ATOS. They put it on the SL7.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
There's another one for the ATOS. It's like one piece with the stem.
Albanese.
Albanese. Okay, that's the one.
Yeah, it's. I think it retails for $850.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no go.
It's
no
crazy.
go.
Will you change to the new tubeless Rovell wheelset?
Okay, good question.
Is this clincher?
No, this is not. This is not tubeless.
Oh, but this is clinchers then.
These are clinchers.
Okay.
Correct. Sorry. So no. And I'll explain why. I think tubeless tires are amazing because you can run on really, really low PSI, and it makes the ride very, very comfortable. But the downside is there's no maintenance to it, in my opinion. That you have to put the sealant in, and then you have to spin the wheels, do this, do that. Why not just ride tubes when you can just change the tube, pump it up, and let's go instead. But the good thing is about tubeless, I guess, is the PSI law. You can't really run very low PSI on the tubes, ma.
Okay. Oh man, this is a roast. This bike is better than my bike.
Okay, I'll just give a comment on that. I think cycling, you don't really need a good bike. I mean, I'm contradicting myself. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, it's whatever that makes you happy, right? In my opinion, some people buy a really, really expensive watch, but your phone tells time, right? So you just spend your money wisely and make sure you don't overspend on things that you can't afford lah. So for me, it took me a long time to get to this Venge. It took me about 2 years of saving, of course, buying and selling here and there, working to get here.
Okay.
So this was not something that was an impulse buy or it will put me in debt or not. So tell your time.
Yeah.
You'll get there. You'll get your dream bike in no time.
Why SRAM rate, not a Shimano?
Very good question. So I had the Shimano Ultegra, like I said just now. What I like about SRAM rate is it comes with a power meter itself. It's a dual-sided power meter. That's what they said. I realize it's only one side, which is here, but when I asked my friend, he said, hey, it's dual sided, but you realize there's no, you know, that little attachment on the non-drive side. So I don't really understand how it works. I didn't question it. And also I really like the design of the cranks. Shifting wise, the downside is a little bit slower than the Shimano. I mean, even to the 11-speed Shimano, it's a little bit slower. I think because it's wireless. Definitely loses to the 12-speed Shimano Ultegra or Dura Ace. I just generally like the whole design of it and like how it shifts. And also the battery is really good. So that's why straight and weight.
Battery, because these are obviously it's a wireless system, right?
Yeah.
And it's a very small battery.
Yep.
People that I've interviewed says that the battery does not last as long as a Shimano.
Oh, definitely it doesn't last that long, but the good thing is it's very easy to charge. For me, when I want to charge my Venge, I have to literally drag it to my living room, put outside, you know, in my living room beside my dining table, and then, you know, plug it in.
Charge the Shimano.
Yeah, but for SRAM, it's so easy. You take out the battery, you literally just you know, put it on the table.
And you can swap it.
Yeah, and you can swap it, you know, in case the rear derailleur battery dies, swap it to the front.
Actually, someone told me, you know, the power meter on the crank's arm, right?
Yep.
It's actually together with the chainring, is it?
Yes, it is. It's one piece.
So if anything happens, or if you want to swap the chainring size, you can't do that. You got to swap the whole thing.
Correct.
Oh my god, it's expensive.
That's why you need to choose the correct one, then you buy.
I didn't know that. I thought it's separate.
It is.
Next question is, this bike looks perfect. What would be your next upgrade, if there is any?
Well, the definition of upgrade would be to get something better, right? I think that would be how I define an upgrade. But as of now in the market, I don't think there's anything better than Venge. In my opinion, I'm not trying to insult anyone out there. Y'all don't try to kacau. So I think if I were to go for anything else which I had in mind was the SL7, because I've never tried one before. I wanted to know how it feels like, but I'll definitely still keep my Venge. In my opinion, I just like the whole feel of it. Like I said, I had the SL6 and I felt like SL6, everything was so small and I didn't enjoy the feel of something, you know. I can't really explain this feeling, but SL6 just doesn't give me this satisfaction that the Venge does. Therefore, I think as of now, until S-Works come out with, you know, another aero bike, which I don't think they will, I'll stick to the Venge.
Last question, CLX50 or CLX64?
Okay, I had a 64 by the way, if he hasn't shared with you. Okay, 64 rolling speed, super fast, extremely aero. But the thing is, on startup, that's where the Venge lacks the most. And the CLX64 makes it much worse compared to the CLX50. I don't understand why they don't want to make it in the middle, like the 5.6. 5.6 is perfect, it's beautiful, it's right in the middle of 50 and 64. But in my opinion, right now, unless you are going straight all the way, like you're a TMCR warrior, you don't go anywhere else, you're only TMCR, circle the TMCR, 64 is the best. But if you intend to, you know, like me, Bukit Timah to MBS, TMCR and back, 50 is the way to go. Because there are some climbs here and there, and 64 is much heavier. I think 50 and 64 is about 200-ish gram increment, compared to I think 32 and 50, which is about 100 plus grams. So I think that 200 grams, when it comes to, you know, a bike like this, does make a difference, because you're then bringing it to like 8.5 kg if it's 8.2, and let's say if you're 7.9, you're bringing to 8.3. Yeah. So these are, I mean, 8.2 lah. So these are some things that have to be considered. Okay.
We're done with the IG questions.
Sweet.
Any last things you want to talk about that I didn't mention? Now's your chance to address your people or the audience.
Okay, hello. I think if you are looking to go into S-Works and you don't really know whether cycling is something you want to do, then perhaps you can start with like the new Allay Sprint, right? I mean, it's
an expensive aluminium bike.
Yeah, it's expensive aluminium bike, but the thing is you don't have to worry about it cracking, because unlike a carbon bike, if you fall on the Allay Sprint, it dents, but it's still rideable. On a carbon bike, if it cracks, it's over. So these are things we have to consider. But if I'm not wrong, the 105 SL6 is $3,000-ish, right? Brand new. And the Tiagra version is about 2,000.
There's a Tiagra version of SL6?
Oh, there is.
SL6?
Yes. Oh, there's a Tiagra version of the SL6. I think it's around 3,001. So if you are new to cycling and that's something you want to explore, and you're willing to throw $3,000, then, you know, SL6 is really good. But if not, I would recommend Giant TCR. I know you've talked about it in your channel. I think it's the perfect starter bike. Carbon, extremely cheap. Ultragraph version, I think, was it the old Ultragraph version? You can pay for $1,500 for a super light bike. I think it's 6-ish kg as well, right? For $1,005, I think that's the perfect starter bike.
I was having lunch with someone today, and I was just telling him about my bicycle and how much it cost, and he was very surprised at how come people are willing to splurge so much on a bike. Actually, when I first started cycling, when I went to a bike shop and I looked at the guy, the cashier entering the amount, I was very stunned that people will pay, you know, an insane amount of money for this kind of parts. Do you think for someone who wants to start cycling, they buy a $4,000 bike, are they able to resell the bike at $4,000? I mean, it's a no-brainer question.
Yeah.
I know the answer, but I just want to hear it from you.
Okay, so I think I've said that before. I run beautiful cycles, so I sell bicycles on Carousel. I've got ceramic speeds coming in as well, like the OSPW. I know I don't have it here because I thought about it and I was like,
you scared I asked you the question, that's why I took it out.
$600? No lah, I didn't bother with it. But I will be honest here, I have one coming, gold color, I'll put it on it. Don't question me on it.
so wait, will it make a difference?
It will not make a difference.
Okay, it's just a bling thing.
It's very, very big. In my opinion, without ceramic speed, OSPW, no difference at all. I mean, on the website it says 4 watts, but are you pumping out 1,200 watts where that 4 watt would then make a difference? No, I'm not pumping out 1,200 watts, so it will not make it. For Tour de France rider, perhaps you know, they are cycling. They don't
so look much. At Matthew Van Der Poel. He doesn't even have an OSPW. Come on, man. And
because he's not sponsored.
No. And here we are talking about OSPW 5 watts. Come on, man. Tour de France guys not even using it.
Yeah, it doesn't. And also, there are a lot of things that I think they attempt to sell you, but I buy them because I like the bling. I'm willing to throw $600 because I view my bike as an art. You know, when I'm cycling, I enjoy it. When I don't, I hang on my wall. It makes me happy every time I walk past it. You know, it's like a golden retriever.
Eat dinner on your bike, you know. Sit there.
I've not tried it before, but you know, sometimes when I just walk past my living room and I walk past my bike, it makes me happy, and that's why that $600 makes me even happier. But it's very hard to quantify this. You know, if you need to tell your wife or your girlfriend that you're throwing $600 on this, you better bring her to a very, very nice dinner and then justify the $600. If not, it's over for you. Break
the news while having the expensive dinner.
Yeah. Go to somewhere nice.
Wait, so back to the question about the $4,000 if someone to buy it. Are they able to cover that?
Sorry. I totally forgot about the question. So, I think market research is the most important thing. Carousel, a good thing. Let me show you guys a trick. So let's say you want to buy a bike on Carousel. When you search through Carousel, let's say Specialized SL6, whatever is available, it will show, correct? But they won't show what is sold. So what you can do is you go on Google Images, and then you type the same thing, and then at the back you add Singapore. Then you narrow down the search to whatever is Singapore, right? Then you just click the images of what looks like an SL6 in Singapore, and then you bring it into Carousel if that image is from Carousel itself. So of course you look at the bottom, say Carousel, click on it, and sometimes it shows you what is already sold. So the image is still there, but the product is already out of Carousel. Then you look at the price of what it's sold for, and then you look at what you're paying for. If it's around the same, you should be safe to go. But if you see, how come he's selling 3,600 and what is sold is 2,600, then you should be quite wary, because then if you ride maybe 2 or 3 times and you're like, okay, cycling is not for me, I like to go spin class. I respect people in spin class, by the way. My partner goes for it. Then I think you lose $1,000, and I think it's very, very unfair for them. So I think market research is the most important thing when it comes to buying and selling bicycles.
Oh, good tip.
Yep.
We're a bit over time, it's 43 minutes.
Yep.
Michael, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
Appreciate it. That is it, man. Thank you so much, and
thanks for having me here.
See you guys in the next video. Remember to subscribe, okay?
Yeah, subscribe to this channel, man. That's how I find out.
To cry.